In this video, you'll see how to set up Amazon WorkSpaces as a product in your ServiceNow portal. When AWS Service Catalog is integrated into ServiceNow, you can add WorkSpaces to your Service Catalog products, enabling end users to request and receive provisioned virtual desktops on demand. For the purposes of this demonstration, we are beginning after the initial integration between AWS Service Catalog and ServiceNow has been completed. A detailed blog on aws.amazon.com explains how to enable this integration using the AWS Service Catalog connector for ServiceNow. Before we do anything else, let's quickly review how users can request AWS products integrated into the ServiceNow portal. Users can search for what they need from a centralized catalog of IT services. Within the categories in this catalog is AWS Service Catalog, so users can request AWS products approved by the organization right from here. The only product made available so far is this Amazon Simple Storage Service, or Amazon S3 product. The end user can fill out this form to request a provisioned S3 bucket without having to sign into Amazon Web Services. Now let's see how you can also make Amazon WorkSpaces available to your end users through ServiceNow. Amazon WorkSpaces is a managed, secure desktop-as-a-service solution that enables you to provision virtual, cloud-based desktops, known as WorkSpaces, for your users. If you have not already done so, you will need to configure your AWS account to use Amazon WorkSpaces. Let's review how to do that. During setup, you can configure Amazon WorkSpaces to authenticate users against several different directories, including Simple AD and the AWS Managed Microsoft AD. You can even use the AD connector to authenticate against an on-premises Active Directory. For demonstration purposes, we'll select the Quick Setup option, which uses Simple AD as the directory. By default, Amazon WorkSpaces provides different bundles of compute capacity, operating system, storage, and applications to choose from. In this case, let's select a standard bundle with Windows 10. You also need to have at least one user in your directory in order to connect to WorkSpaces. Since this is a new directory, let's add a user now. Now launch WorkSpaces. Go to the WorkSpaces console. After a while, you can refresh the view and see that WorkSpaces is now available for use. You can also expand the user's Workspace ID to view additional details, such as the client's download link and the registration code the user will need to connect to their workspace. Now that you've seen how to set up WorkSpaces using AWS and have created a test user in the directory, let's delete this workspace. Next, let's take a look at the initial directory that was created. Be sure to note the directory ID, as you'll need it for configuration later. Now let's navigate to AWS Identity and Access Management, or IAM, to create a new policy with permissions to launch WorkSpaces. Choose WorkSpaces as the service for this policy. For the purposes of this demonstration, let's grant this policy permissions to perform all WorkSpaces actions. Your organization can choose to grant different permissions depending on its own security policies and best practices. Give the policy access to all resources. Next, provide a name and description for the policy, and then finish creating it. Next, navigate to Roles. Let's attach this policy to the role that is used by the ServiceNow connector to launch products in the AWS Service Catalog. Now that all the permissions are configured in IAM, let's go to AWS Service Catalog and create a new product for Amazon WorkSpaces. On the Products screen, select the option to upload a new product. Provide some initial details about this product. Let's call this product Virtual Windows Desktop. You can also enter support details for your end users. Finally, enter the version details. You can upload an Amazon CloudFormation template that defines the Amazon WorkSpaces product you want to make available through ServiceNow. For the purposes of this example, This template has already been set up. Before proceeding, let's take a quick look at this template. As you can see, these mappings make 3 different Windows 10 desktop bundles available to end users. Each bundle references the directory ID of the directory you created earlier for user authentication. Returning to the product configuration, provide a version title and description. Review the information you provided, and then scroll down and click Create. Now that the product has been created, you can add it to the portfolio of products available on ServiceNow. Next, create a launch constraint. Keep the constraint type as Launch, and then select the WorkSpaces product from the list. Select the role that will be used to provision resources. This is the role you added the WorkSpaces policy to earlier. This portfolio already has a role added with end-user access permissions, so everything in AWS has now been configured. Let's navigate to ServiceNow. Before you can test the new WorkSpaces product on ServiceNow, ServiceNow must be synced to the AWS account. Rather than wait for the next scheduled sync, let's do it manually. Now, let's switch to the perspective of an end user who is looking to launch a virtual Windows desktop in Amazon WorkSpaces. The user can navigate to the product through the ServiceNow Service Catalog. In the AWS Service Catalog category, the new Virtual Windows Desktop item is now available. The user just needs to fill out a brief form to place the order. Notice that the user can choose from the 3 workstation types defined in the template. The user is required to provide their Windows login ID to connect to the workspace. This must be a valid username that is already present in the directory. They can also specify any additional tags they want associated with this product. Now they can place the order. Here you can see that the request has been automatically approved and fulfillment has been completed. If needed, ServiceNow administrators can configure more complex workflows than this one to require additional approvals before the product is provisioned. Returning to their ServiceNow home screen, the user now sees the WorkSpaces product displayed in the My AWS Products widget. They can monitor the product's provisioning, which can take around 20 minutes to complete. Once the product is fully provisioned, the user can use the buttons on this page to request an update, perform a self-service action, or even terminate the workspace. ServiceNow administrators can also add the My AWS Products widget to the ServiceNow portal view. With the widget, users can view details on their AWS product requests and perform self-service actions such as rebooting a workspace. Switching briefly to the administrator view of the AWS Management Console, you can see that the user's workspace was created successfully. The admin can also manage it from here. Now let's return to the end user one last time. When the Amazon workspace has been created, the user will receive an email with instructions on how to finish setting up the account. Once the account has been set up, the user can select their preferred method of connecting. In this case, select Web Access. Enter the registration code provided in the email. Then type in the username and password. The user is now successfully connected to the workspace. You've just seen how to set up Amazon WorkSpaces as a product in your ServiceNow portal. Thanks for watching. Now it's your turn to try.